I am the most exalted Phoenix Princess. The dragon I choose becomes the next Dragon King. In my previous life, I chose Aldric, the one I have loved since my teenage years. To help him pass the storm trial, I burned my own Soulstone without hesitation, secretly invoking the power of Phoenix Rebirth to bear the 9 divine thunders in his place. In the end, my Soulstone cracked and I lost the ability to bear children. But I accepted it gladly. I believed he was the one person in this world most worthy of my devotion. Until the day he passed the trial and ascended to the throne. His dragon claw punched my chest. He smiled, cruel, unhesitating, and ripped my scarred Soulstone out by the root. I collapsed in a pool of blood. My phoenix plumes were torn out one by one. He crushed my spine beneath his foot.
If it weren't to take your Soulstone and make Lysara the Phoenix Princess, why the hell would I ever marry a bitch like you?
Then I watched him drop to one knee and offer my Soulstone to Lysara. That magpie who had impersonated me since we were children was smiling at me, the smile of a victor. She possessed my Soulstone while I lay broken on the ground waiting to die. The last image burned into my eyes was... Then everything went dark. When I opened my eyes again, my back was drenched in cold sweat.
Seraphina, have you made your decision? Who would you like to choose as your husband?
That voice, this scene. I had been reborn, back to the night of choosing. Your Majesty, I'd like to—
Father, I know Seraphina has feelings for me, but my heart belongs only to Lysara. I have sworn an oath before the gods. If I ever betray her, let my soul become a demon, never to find peace.
Gasps nearly lifted the roof off the great hall. King Fenrid's expression darkened. Everyone knew. Whoever married the Phoenix Princess would sit securely upon the throne. And what Aldric had just said amounted to renouncing the crown. In an instant, every other candidate stirred with barely concealed hunger.
However, I know Seraphina can't live without me. I can marry her, so long as she and Lysara both become my wives. They will each be my queen.
Enough! Lysara, a magpie, daring to stand as equal to the Phoenix Princess?
What are you standing there for? Haven't you always wanted to marry me? This is your chance! You've taken so much from Lysara. If she weren't so generous, I would never have agreed to let you be my queen as well. You should be on your knees with gratitude.
Our eyes met, and in that instant I understood he had been reborn too. He thought I would be the same as before, that I would cling to him no matter what, endure any humiliation, even sacrifice my life. The year I was born, the God War erupted. The entire Phoenix clan suffered catastrophic losses. Every ash nest on the ash tree scattered in the chaos of battle. Many unborn lives, forced to manifest their infant forms prematurely by the upheaval, perished. Our people searched everywhere, and in their haste, mistakenly brought back the fledgling Lysara, who had fallen into one of the ash nests. Meanwhile, I was taken in by Lysara's parents, who had lost their own chick, and missed the rescue entirely. Until 100 years later, when we each underwent our true rebirth, did father and mother discover the one they'd brought home was a magpie, a fake. Mother was kind. Considering that Lysara was still a child nurtured by sacred fire, she didn't banish her. Instead, she allowed Lysara to remain in the kingdom, enjoying privileges far above her bloodline. But Lysara was never satisfied. She even manipulated Aldric into making a public spectacle on her behalf. The elder blood of the dragon clan had been declining for ages. And that was why every Dragon King plus no restrictions on bloodline. Warmth, Serpent, Drake, Wyron, all these lesser dragonkin from collateral lines could compete alongside the king's own offspring. The princes. Anyone who could withstand the 9 divine thunders upon the storm ultim would inherit the throne. And bonding with the Phoenix Princess not only guaranteed passage through that near-fatal fire, it would also vastly elevate the purity of one's descendant's bloodline. No one knew these details except the king. The outside world only knew this. Whomever the Phoenix Princess chose would become the next Dragon King. And today Aldric had all but publicly humiliated the entire Phoenix clan. If the Phoenix clan severed ties with the dragons over this, the Dragon clan would be utterly finished. King Fenric had clearly reached the same conclusion. He regarded Aldric with cold eyes, then turned to me, his tone softening.
Serena, this fool has acted disgracefully. He is yours to deal with as you see fit.
King Fenric, I've already decided who I wish to marry. I walked directly to King Fenric and whispered the name, along with my entire plan, using the ancient cipher tongue. Fenric was silent for a moment, then nodded.
Since you've made your decision, very well. I will arrange everything.
He turned to Aldric.
You will remain in confinement until you've reflected on your actions. Before the wedding, I will not tolerate another incident.
A faint smugness crept across Aldric's face. The look he gave me said it plainly. I knew it. You'd give in eventually. I couldn't be bothered to react. I simply glanced toward a far corner of the hall. There in the shadows stood a man dressed entirely in black, with two slender dark horns on his head. Nothing like the blood-sloked man who had fought to avenge me in my previous life. King Fenric kept me back to exchange a few private words. By the time I emerged from the great hall, Aldric was still there, waiting. Beside him stood Lysara in a white gown.
Seraphina, thank you. If my parents were still alive, I'm sure they would be so happy.
She reached up and dabbed at the corner of her eye. Aldric immediately pulled her close, glaring at me coldly.
Lysara's parents died because of you. Now she's being gracious enough to accept you. Don't you think you owe her something?
Back then, Lysara's parents had found me and cared for me devotedly, until they ventured out and were killed by a monstrous beast. I had been so terrified that the phoenix fire within me detonated, which was how the Phoenix clan finally located me. In my previous life, I carried that guilt towards Lesha always, yielding to her at every turn. It wasn't until the moment before my death that she told me with a smile. She had lured that beast there herself, to get rid of me.
I owe her?
Give Lysana your Soulstone.
In that instant, the agony of his ice-cold fingers prying open my chest in the previous life came flooding back.
Do you have any idea what it means for a soulstone to leave its owner's body? Without my soulstone, my soul will wither completely. I will die.
We're about to marry. What's yours is mine. Hand the Soulstone over to Lysara. I can guarantee nothing will happen to you. If you refuse, then don't think about marrying me.
I stared at him. Killing instinct surged through my veins. My fingertips had already begun to burn, phoenix fire stirring restlessly beneath my skin. Lysara's face drained color, inch by inch. She started trembling, her knees threatening to buckle. Even Aldric's expression was growing rigid. He straightened his spine, trying to resist, but beads of sweat broke out along his temples. If I wished it, he and this magpie would be ash in an instant. But I forced that fire back down. Death would be the easiest way out for him. I wanted him to watch himself lose everything.
Seraphina.
Aldric recovered, humiliation twisting into fury.
How dare you! Princess, King Fenric sent me to escort you.
It was the Black Drake. I withdrew my power and gave him a small smile. Let's go.
Wait, what business could you possibly have with this low-brun Black Drake?
If you have so much free time, perhaps you should spend it for the Storm Ultim trial in 5 days. 5 days later, every lesser dragonfid who aspired to become a true dragon would ascend the Storm Ultim. In my previous life, bolstered by my Soulstone and protection, Aldric had become the first being in 10,000 years to survive all 9 divine thunders in a single attempt. And now, his face held that same brimming confidence.
A few thunderbolts of lightning? None of the lesser dragonwood this time around are a match for me. 5 days from now, just sit back and wait for me to marry you.
A flash of jealous hatred slid through Lysana's eyes, but I just walked away, side by side with that man. It wasn't until Aldric's voice had faded entirely behind us that I stopped. Kael Fenric told you everything? He gazed at me intently.
Princess Seraphina, I swear upon my soul, if I ever betray you in this life, let me fall to demons, never to know peace.
Do you understand that once a soul oath is sealed, the gods will tear the oathbreaker's soul to shreds?
I do.
I removed the glowing phoenix sigil from around my neck, leaned forward and fastened it against his chest. This is the token a Phoenix princess gives to her husband. I trust you. His eyes blazed with startling brightness. I turned and headed toward my quarters. I'd barely reached the front gate when my handmaid Finch came rushing out.
Princess! They're cutting your ash tree!
I sprinted into the inner courtyard. Then I froze. The ash tree had been chopped clean at the base. Aldric stood beside the severed stump, a few crushed leaves still clinging to the hem of his robes.
What gives you the right to cut down my tree? That tree was a gift from my mother when I left the Phoenix clan. She said that as long as I could see an ash tree, it would be like coming home. I spent 100 years, day after day, watering it with my own hands, nurturing it until it towered above everything.
So what? It's just a tree. It's gone. Lysana likes Bloodvine. From today on, only Bloodvine will be planted here.
I laughed bitterly. You can't even provide her a place to live.
How you dare to dictate what grows in my garden?
What's yours is mine! I'm simply making arrangements in advance. Seraphina, if you keep up this arrogance, then even if you beg me on your knees, I will never marry you. But if you behave, I might sleep with you on the wedding night, let you bear the first dragon pureblood heir. That is an honor beyond measure.
I finally lost my patience. I clenched my fist, gathered my power, and in the next instant he went stumbling backward, crashing out through the front gate.
Aldric, stop dreaming. My husband will never be you.
Of course he didn't believe it.
Seraphina, what game are you playing? If not me, then who? Father said he would arrange a wedding.
I slammed the door shut. What he didn't know was that the wedding King Fenric had mentioned was indeed his. Only the bride was a magpie.
5 days later, the storm altar, a sea of onlookers. I arrived nearly last, only to discover that Lysara had tagged along as well.
The moment Aldric spotted me from afar, he strode over.
Seraphina, you're ready to shield me, I assume? Lysara will be at my side today. Perform well, and I won't mistreat you in the future.
His eyes brimmed with brazen confidence and self-satisfaction. But the very next second, his expression twisted into pure fury. He stormed toward Kael, chest heaving violently.
The Phoenix sigil. Why is it on you?
His gaze was riveted to the crimson gold emblem on Kael's chest. Lysana immediately hooked her arm through Aldrian's.
Aldrin, obviously that's a replica. How could it possibly be real? The trial is about to begin. Someone like him probably can't even survive the first thunderbolt of lightning. We needn't waste our time on him.
Aldric's expression eased slightly.
A lowborn Drake paired with a counterfeit. How fitting.
Soon, the sound of horns split the sky. King Fenric's figure appeared at the summit of the storm altrum. Light spread outward along the ground in every direction. The trial had begun. The lesser dragonkin ascended to the center of the altar one by one, but the best among them withstood only 3 divine thunders. Disappointment was plain on King Fenric's face. Finally, it was Aldric's turn. He walked to the altar with unhurried ease. Lysana trailed behind him, positioning herself carefully at the altar's edge. Aldric blinked back at her, his gaze tender, as though she were the most precious thing in existence.
Don't worry, Lysana. You know my strength, don't you? And besides, Seraphina is here. How could she possibly not help me?
His eyes found me. That look so entitled, it made my stomach turn.
Just sit tight and wait for me to claim you.
Lysana lifted her head. The next second, a dim soulstone no larger than a fingernail rose slowly from her chest.
The instant it left her body, several strands of hair at her dupes turned from black to grey-white with visible speed. Aldric rushed forward to stable her.
Lysala, what are you doing? I told you, just stay by my side. Separating from your soulstone will destroy you.
Aldric, I know my power is meager. I can't compare to Sarah, but I refuse to simply stand by and do nothing. Let my soulstone keep you a company in my place, even if it's only for a single second.
Aldric's eyes reddened instantly.
Murmurs rippled through the crowd.
That magpie's crazy. But what about her soulstone? It probably won't last a second.
When it comes down to it, she's just banking on the princess stepping in. With Phoenix power backing him, how could Aldric possibly fail?
I said nothing. I simply stood where I was, perfectly still. Aldric turned to face the center of the altar. He drew a deep breath and shifted into his golden drake form, ascending along the golden light into the air above. Instantly, the clouds began to twirl. Lightning crackled and thunder rolled. 1, 2, 3. Every jaw in the crowd dropped.
9 divine thunders!
I was the lowest born Omega in the Empire, yet I had seen the most powerful Alpha in the Empire completely naked. It wasn't until he rode in on his warhorse and carried me away that I realized the white wolf I had rescued with my own hands was none other than the Empire's most dangerous Alpha dupe. At the entrance of the palace slave quarters, a huge crashing sound startled me. I walked out, thinking Steward Mara was scolding a slave again, but when I pushed the door open, I saw a giant wolf lying on the ground, with a wound spanning half its body, bleeding continuously. I was so startled I nearly cried out. Color was almost unrecognizable. A pang of pity hit me, and my nose stung.
Were you abandoned by another pack and fled here?
The giant wolf opened its golden, slit-pupiled eyes, and a dangerous growl rumbled in its throat, but due to weakness, it only let out a soft whimper. I was a little scared, but I still took out the last small piece of bread I had and offered it to the giant wolf's mouth. The giant wolf glanced at it and turned its head away. It thought, I would never eat such a thing. I stroked its head.
I know wolves are supposed to eat meat, but this is all I have. Please make do with a little.
The giant wolf impatiently opened its eyes and sniffed the bread. Looking at my skinny self, it finally lowered its head and swallowed it in one gulp. I immediately smiled and stroked its big head.
Good boy.
It took everything I had to drag the giant wolf inside. Just as I settled it, I heard a clamor of voices outside. I peeked through the crack in the door.
Close all palace gates! Not a single mouse is to be let out!
My heart lurched, and I quickly cowered into the shadows of the corner. Outside the wall, the leader of the investigative soldiers was talking to his subordinates.
Search quickly! Duke Kael trespassed into the sacred grounds of the Wolf Pack, injured an elder, and is to be arrested by order of Princess Lyra!
Captain, Duke Kael always operates within his own territory. How could he suddenly trespass into a sacred land? What if we've searched the wrong place?
Shut up! Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. The princess's order is here. Just search!
I took a moment to steady my racing heart.
Duke Kael holds immense power. Even the Wolf King gives him some measure of respect. Yet Princess Lyra has ordered his arrest. If anyone finds out I know anything about this, I'll lose my life.
At the time, I had no idea that the giant wolf before me was none other than Duke Kael, the very man Princess Lyra was hunting. I seized the chance to drag the giant wolf into a storage room tucked away in the corner.
You're lucky you ran into me. The cut is deep. If this keeps up, it won't end well. Rest here for a bit. I'll be right back.
In the dim communal sleeping quarters of the slave camp, I gently pushed open the door. Several slaves inside lay sound asleep.
House afterward.
Faye's face twitted red with jealousy. Her features warped with rage.
Mayev! Throw him out! Don't let him humiliate you with money!
I stared at the royal black card, glowing with dark golden light, and swallowed hard. I was nothing but a defective nobody without a wolf spirit. I survived by scavenging discarded beast pelps near the borders. Getting humiliated with an unlimited black card honestly felt like a blessing from the moon goddess. Why would I refuse? I had no idea what kind of brain damage my past self suffered, but in this life, I obediently accepted the card. Then I gave Nox a perfect courtesy.
Please rest assured, Your Majesty. I'll keep everything absolutely confidential and safely deliver the child to the royal family.
The little pup inside my belly fell silent in shock.
Did Mom suddenly get smart? Dad's cursed by dark magic and about to lose his bloodline forever. A pure-blood child is practically a miracle, and Grandma, the former Luna, has always dreamed of having a grandson. As long as Mom cooperates, rising to power through her son is only a matter of time.
Faye finally snapped out of it and pointed at me, hysterically.
Maeve! Have you no shame? You're seriously selling your body for money?
She lunged forward, trying to snatch the black card from me. I instantly darted behind Nock, like a frightened rabbit.
This is my mate bond. Of course I'm keeping the baby. Who wouldn't want their child to have a better life?
Faye clawed toward me like a madwoman. The royal guards dragged her away without mercy. Nox glanced at her with disgust.
You should stay away from strays who try to murder royal offspring.
Inside my belly, the little pup cheered excitedly.
Dad's amazing! Too bad Mom's brain is basically soup. Even ghoul bears would refuse to eat it.
All right, sweethearts.